Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to everyone who's here with us in person. So many of you are here tonight, and you keep coming in. I see all of you. Those with us in our online community, I invite you to turn to the cameras in the back. Wave hello so we join together our online community. Back there, cameras the other way around. Turn around, go. Right there. You're joining us. We're welcoming all of you in our final outdoor courtyard service. For the time being, we'll see where life takes us in this moment, but here we are gathered together as community. And we're entering into an auspicious time in our calendar because tonight begins one of 2 days of what we call Rosh Chodesh, of this time of a new month. And we are entering a special holiday, a special month of Elul. A little more, I'll talk about that into the service, but a time when we are focused, our intentions are focused inward, introspection, looking at the things we need to shift and change, the inventory that we want to take charge of in our lives. We want to reflect on that inward and also make changes outward. And so there's so much in this moment, and we'll see the music over the next month will start to shift a little bit. The rhythms will start to feel a little different, some familiar. And so all of us, it's about opening our hearts. And I know coming here tonight, there are so many people from so many places, especially online, from around the world and from our own local San Diego community. And I want to give a special welcome to a wonderful group of interfaith participants from Salam USA, a non-religious, nonpartisan organization that brings people together at the grassroots level. Much of their interfaith relations work takes place between imams and pastors, priests, and rabbis. And their events bring everyday humans together for community building and to learn about each other's cultures. Tonight they join our community, our brothers and sisters. We welcome you and hope that you feel a way to bring in the beauty of Shabbat. And there's very simple language. If you don't know Hebrew, many people don't know Hebrew here, but I'm going to suggest that if you know the term lai, can you say lai? That you've mastered the nigun that we call it, the wordless melody. And so that's all you need to know in this moment. So we invite you to be part of this experience, all of you. And after our time this evening here, we'll have opportunity to head down to our field where there'll be incredible festivities abound. We are honored by those in blue aprons that greeted you this evening, many of them wonderful staff and volunteers. I'd like to call upon them at this time to help kindle our Shabbat candles in honor of the work that you do to support us. So if you're holding or wearing a blue apron, I invite you to join us as we light candles this evening and to thank you for all of your support in making tonight a beautiful, beautiful Shabbat experience. As we begin entering into Shabbat, we begin with Kabbalat Shabbat, and that is the receiving of this moment of the recesses of our souls have to be opened up. And so we take these moments to open to one another, to open to ourselves. And so one of the things that we do is also the receiving of faces, as we call the Kabbalat Panim. I want to invite you to receive one another in this moment. Turn to someone behind you, around you, next to you. Say Shabbat Shalom. Introduce yourself. Say hello. The rabbis knew that if you were coming to daven or to pray, that we would run on Jewish time. Many people would run on Jewish time. That means late. So they created the Kabbalat Shabbat so that the 10 individuals were not needed necessarily, but it was a time to begin that entrance into Shabbat. So we begin on page 22 in our prayer books. If you do not have a prayer book, you can go to the back and one of the ushers will hand you a prayer book. Page 22, we begin together, Tov Lehodot.
Close my eyes in peace, and from my soul heard far above springs a song of love.
Back to page 18, Mizmor Leviticus. page 20, L'chadodi L'krat Kala. Come, my beloved, as we greet the Sabbath bride.
L'chadodi L'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Yekabela. L'chadodi L'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Yekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Shmi'anu el ha'yukad, Adonai echad hu shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'lithilah. L'chadodi L'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Yekabela. L'chadodi L'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Yekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Ba'orechu mihori, uri uri shikaberi, K'mod Adonai ha'yichidlach. L'chadodi L'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Yekabela. L'chadodi L'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Yekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam l'simcha uv'tzahala, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala, L'chadodi L'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Yekabela. L'chadodi L'krat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Yekabela.
We are warmed, nope, don't sit down. We are warmed up in spirit, in song, and in soul, and we call each other now to prayer. Baruch Hu, page 146.
Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai.
Page 147, we pray responsively. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom.
Day follows day in endless succession, but the years vanish.
but your sovereignty endures.
Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Haravim. Ahavat olam, Beit Israel, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Ahavat olam, Beit Israel, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al din Adonai Elohim, Adonai Elohim, Shofeinu nasi apechukecha, v'nisra b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam ahavat olam. Beit Israel, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever, Ahavat olam, Beit Israel, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Shema Yisrael, Please join us on page 150.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On page 152, we have our blessing, Micha Mocha, which reminds us of our exodus from Egypt. Leaving Egypt and leaving bondage was just the beginning of our story. Because once we left Egypt, our job was to bring that redemption to all others who are oppressed. It's why at our Seder tables we say, all who are hungry, come and eat. We live that out today and every day as we remember not only the Sabbath day, but of our redemption from slavery. Page 152, we join together.
La
page 154.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'hamidenu Shomereinu Lechayim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'hamidenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'hamidenu
Page 154, Vishamri.
Veshamru bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת,
vayinafash. Shabbat vayinafash. Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם לדורות. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם לדורות.
We turn from communal prayers to inward prayers. As we rise together on page 155, we'll begin our Amidah together. And then, when you have finished your Amidah using the words of our Siddur, our prayer book, or the words of your own heart, we'll invite you to take your seat. We'll begin on page 155. Adonai Sfatai Tita Continue individually and silently through page 165.
shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam.
As we turn to our prayer for healing, we recall that as we pray for peace for the world, we also recognize that there are those among us who are broken in some way and are in need of healing. And there is no more powerful way to offer our prayers for healing than to have the voices of children and teens help us. So I'd like to invite all those who are here from our teen and youth choirs to come up. As we think of those within our community who are in need of healing, we think of Ari Zalman Leib ben Shoshana Moshe, Dina Leah bat Zohara, Lauren Berman, Richard Kosan, Story DeWitt, Spencer Dickin, Ellen Edwards, Jessica Lynn Friedman, Denise Garrick, Vivian Judas, Ella Glickman, Elliot Goldstein, Nancy Gordon, Ellen Hutz, Ruthie Jordan, Richard Kitson, Rebecca Lahana, Roberto Lahana, Deborah Levin, Marshall J. Lewis, Nechama Bat Rafael, Claudia Liebenson, Maria Luro, Michal Iran Bat Yael, Jim McIndoe, Yoram Minis, Hadass Najari, Jonathan Newlander, Stanley Rabin, Lynn Richard, Sharon Ritter, Galina Rybolchenko, Jenny Schnitzer, Rhonda Schwartz, Ilana Schaefer, Bernard Stein, Seth Streichler, Lynn Slotkin, Cindy Spector, Gerald Trimble, David Tossman, Kathy Weil, John Weil, Beatrice Weiner, Arlene Welburn, Eric Winston, Naomi Williams, George Wise, Todd Villa, as well as those names that we share aloud together as our eyes meet. We join together in our prayer for healing, page 253.
Shabbat shalom to everyone. As the season's first blast of the shofar sound, beginning this weekend with the entry of the Hebrew month of Elul, we cannot ignore the fact that Rosh Hashanah is fast approaching. For those involved, whether as professionals or volunteers in the running of synagogues, the approach of the high holy days signals that many tasks need to be done in the coming weeks. There are sermons to write, Torah readings to learn, seats to be assigned, and honors to be given. And for those who customarily invite guests to holiday meals, there are menus to plan, phone calls to make, and shopping and cooking to do. But somewhere in the middle of the pre-holiday flurry of activity, it becomes all the more frantic because the high holiday season almost always coincides with the first month of the academic year. And so sometimes, just sometimes, we tend to avoid losing sight of another kind of preparation. Each year, this season provides us with an opportunity to take stock of ourselves and the lives that we lead, to look at where we've fallen short of our spiritual aspirations and what we can do to improve, to work on, to repair. Each year during the month of Elul, we're called upon to begin a process of self-examination that we call teshuvah. Now, teshuvah means turn in Hebrew, and not turn around, but turn different direction, to find another way. Teshuvah in our rabbinic tradition also means responsa. It's a response. How do you respond to the needs in your lives? How do you respond to the call that you need to make for yourself? Where is the tshuva in your life? Not just the I'm sorry, not just the turning, but where is the responsa that you need in your own life? Truth be told, most of us, surprisingly so, not surprisingly, don't take advantage of the opportunity for renewal that the season provides. We may pay lip service to the process of tshuva, but in truth, we really don't always take it seriously, as I believe that those who came before us wish we would. This examination can tend to be superficial. It leads inexorably to the conclusion that we should continue living the way that we've lived, or maybe a little more so. It's just that kind of spiritual complacency that the month of Elul is actually designed to prevent. The shofar blasts that sound each weekday morning during the month are not mandated by the Torah. Only on Rosh Hashanah is the blowing of the shofar what we call a mitzvah, a commandment. The optional shofar blasts of Elul, rather, are a kind of spiritual alarm clock, if you will, trying desperately to wake us up to the opportunity that this season actually provides us. But most of us are difficult to arouse. If we were to take seriously the season's invitation to tshuva, if we were to realize how far short we might have fallen within any of the aspects of our lives, we might quickly become overwhelmed. But I believe that here too, the message of Elul can actually help each and every one of us. One of the reasons the rabbis place emphasis on devoting a full month before Rosh Hashanah to this process is in order to enable us to take the process one step at a time. If we were to approach Rosh Hashanah without advanced preparation, the process of self-examination that day would be an inordinate amount of work. It would actually be too much for us to handle. By beginning the process a month before, we have the opportunity to proceed slowly so that we will view tshuva as a challenge rather than an impossible task. To be successful, tshuva must be, in a sense, a partnership between one and the other, between us and God, and I believe between the individuals where we want to do the work with. And this is the tough work. We must push ourselves to also realize that our inherent limitations, as we are fallible as human beings, and we have them, and there's nothing to be ashamed of in them. We can recognize an immense spiritual challenge before us while still understanding that the only way we can even begin to meet that challenge is one step at a time, putting one foot in front of the other. Our part in this process requires strength, and it requires courage and resilience and opportunities to spiritually stretch ourselves to prepare for the intensity and the simcha and the joy that comes with our high holiday season. Tomorrow night, we will usher in this new month of Elul. Tonight begins a two-part Rosh Chodesh, but the counting of the month of Elul begins on Shabbat evening. Motzei Shabbat, on Saturday evening. At some point in the past, along with several colleagues, I authored a number of Elul teachings so that they would provide respective congregations with opportunities for growth. And in addition to any reflections shared, each contained an action step that affords us an opportunity to move forward in this real-time introspection. So I just want to share two with you this evening. Two, for you, this is your Shabbat gift. Before we feed you the sustenance, I'm going to give you the spiritual Shabbos gift, okay? And this is the first one. We are used to judging by endings. We are used to judging by endings. We focus on a person's last days, or on the bad breakup, or in the final inning that determines the game. But most of life is not the end, and if there was joy on the journey, let us try to embrace that time. We are not defined by the last, but by all. Let us consider the good that we've done this entire year. How have we impacted those around us in positive ways? Perhaps we introduced a couple to one another, or mended a broken fence, or inspired positive living in others. May we take each month to connect via phone, email, or social media, or in person with one of those individuals. Take this 30 days to connect with perhaps someone that you haven't connected with in a while. Open your heart a little bit. Show them your kindness. And the second one I leave for you as your Shabbos gift. You're getting full already. You're half full. Now spiritual fulfillment. Here we go. Ben Azai used to say, do not despise any person and do not consider anything impossible. For there is no one who does not have his hour, and there is nothing that does not have its place. So what does that mean? Living in the moment is one of the most challenging things in life to actualize. And sometimes, myself included, we get in our own way. In this passage, Ben Azai focuses on the potential of humanity. Not knowing what life will bring, we all have the potential, the capacity to live in the here and now, in the moment. One of my favorite pieces of writings comes from an anonymous author. Some of you may have heard it before. Enjoy life. This is not a dress rehearsal. One day at a time, that is enough. Do not look back and grieve over the past, for it is gone. And do not be troubled about the future, for it has not yet come. Live in the present and make it so beautiful, it will be worth remembering. Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. Live life so completely that when death comes to you like a thief in the night, there will be nothing left for that moment to be stolen from you. What are those moments in your life that take your breath away? Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov. I'd like to call upon the president of our congregation, Dan Jones.
Sorry, Rabbi, I didn't mean to sneak up on you. Just don't make me sing. Good evening, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My name is Dan Jones, and I humbly serve as the president of Congregation Beth Israel. When Rabbi Navarez was just talking about moments that take your breath away, this is one of those moments for me, to look out and see so many people here in community together, worshiping and celebrating and just being together. It's just fantastic. I'd like to thank our musicians who are with us tonight. I'd like to thank Isaac and Heidi and Sebastian and Andy and Buddy and Lou and Jeff and Rebecca. And if you're new here and you want to play some Beth Israel trivia, 4 of them are related. You got to figure out which 4, all right? They're all fantastic. They've all done a wonderful job for us. They're not intimidating at all. I know you might be intimidated by their skills, but they're not intimidating. Please come up and thank them after we're done tonight. I'd also like to thank our youth choir and Sophie for lending their voices tonight. I'd like to thank all of our volunteers who've been helping and will continue to help through the evening. I'd like to thank Marty and Robert, our greeters in the back. If you have any questions tonight as we transition from our service into our festivities, anyone wearing an apron or a name tag, they're the people to go to ask your questions too. Some of us are wearing an apron and a name tag. It's very special. So it seems like it wasn't that long ago, but 77 days ago, I was standing in front of our community at the beginning of our outdoor summer services. And now we've reached the end of our summer services. Now, I know a lot in our community think, we live in San Diego, why don't we just keep going? This is so wonderful, why don't we just keep going? Well, this setup around you doesn't just happen through some form of ancient Jewish magic. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work by our clergy, by our volunteers, by our musicians, and by our full-time staff. So the reason we start to transition right around now also has a lot to do with what Rabbi Navarez was talking about. The High Holy Days are right around the corner, más o menos, right? And it's time for our professional staff to begin to shift their focus towards that. So we all love these outdoor services, and this isn't the end of them. This is just a transition. And next summer, we will transition back. I hope that you'll stay and join us for dinner and dancing, Israeli dancing, after this. We're going to be going out and around and down to the lower field, and we'll have volunteers in aprons helping to direct you if you don't know where that is. If you parked in the parking structure tonight, the gates do seem to be up, but if you did take a ticket, the validation machine is right over there by Danny. If you put your hand up, it's near Danny. It's in front of Danny. And as always, anything I didn't cover tonight, I'm sure is on our website at cbisd.org. Once again, it's wonderful to have you all here. Don't stop. Keep coming. Services indoors are good too, okay? Good night and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Dan. This is the last Rosh Chodesh that we will bless of the year. And please join us on page 261.
May it be your will, God my God, and God of my ancestors, that the coming month bring us peace, full life and blessing. May the promise of your new moon fill us with well-being. Guide us as we grow, making us May it be your will,
Adonai Elohim,
and the coming month bring us peace, full life and blessing. May the promise of
Kaddish Aleinu,
fill us with well-being. Guide us as we grow, making us Mishe'asa nisim la'avoteinu, Mishe'asa nisim le'im שעשה ניסים לאבותינו, מי שעשה ניסים לאמותינו.
The new month of Elul begins tonight and tomorrow. Won't you please rise as we begin to conclude our service for Aleinu, page 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liyotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו פורעים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please be seated. We turn to page 294. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Here and at home, when you hear the name of your loved one, we invite you to rise so that we may comfort you as a community. I am very sad to announce the recent death of Alan Haubenstock, who passed away on August 20th, father of Michael and Susan Haubenstock, Shantara, Grace, and Brian, Lori Shear Haubenstock, grandfather of Zachary Haubenstock, Julie, Andrew Truman, Lisa Haubenstock, and Xavier Holland, great-grandfather of Lily and Noah Truman, and of Philip Cushman, cousin of Earl Altshuler, who died August 22nd, and son of past president Alvin Cushman. We are in the period of Shiva for Gary Davis Aronson, and in the period of Shloshim, first 30 days after burial, for Howard Irwin Black, Gerard Salomon, James Milch, and Ronald D. Simon. And we remember those who died at this time in years past. Joseph Ansel, Morris Barnholtz, Sam Bieber, Elsie Beitcher, Sanford N. Belkin, Faye Berlin, Fred G. Berg, Pinza Kaplan, Robert Chestler, Eleanor Christian, Titan Cohen, Phyllis Cohn, Lillian Corday, Stanley Davidoff, Loris Dubinsky, Ruth R. Elfenbein, Michelle Elyachar, Ben F. Evans, Sidoni Fire, Daniel Feldman, Jorge Ferron, Charles Fireside, Rose Friedenberg, Morris Goldfarb, Annette Goldstein, Morris Green, Patricia Guthauser, Joan Haas, Norman L. Hahn, Kay Harrison, Abraham Hirschbein, Dennis Allen Hords, Bernard S. Jaffe, Maxine Pritzker Kaplan, Leah Katz, Stephen Michael Katz, Fanny Kay, Milton Cossey, Mildred Cooper Smith, Larry Lampert, William Levine, Robert Malkus, Bert Martyr, Esther Melnick, Mortimer W. Meyer, Leah S. Miller, George Newman, Jose Luis Obregon, Gertrude Offenberg, Eugene Isaac Petchett, Morris Perrell, Jean Perlman, Isidore Press, Saul Raka, Emma Raffleson, Molly Reed, Ronald Ricklin, Robert Rivers, Mary Louise Robbins, Richard Rosenberg, Michael Rubin, Nathan Rubin, Harvey Rutman, Nathan Salinger, Abraham Sanders, Lillian Savage, Pearl Simon, Edward B. Singer, Rachel Solomon, David Jeffrey Spira, Marjorie Stein, Alan Stiegler, Leo Tannenbaum, Jacob Tishkoff, Idel Weissenberg, Hyman Wishnek, Florence Wolf, and George Zimmerman. Perhaps you've come to say Kaddish tonight for someone whose name I have not called. As I come around the congregation, please stand and share their name with us. We rise as a community and join together in Kaddish Atom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol Beth Israel, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, v'alam ulomei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei d'kudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for us a blessing. I invite you to put your books down if you wish, and put your arms around the people with whom you are comfortable as we join together in Oseh Shalom.
Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma,
please say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Join us in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Join us down in the field. Shabbat Shalom. Those of you who are here for tribe, they will be down in the field too. There are a separate area for those tribes who are joining us tonight. Shabbat Shalom.